Hello, I am D Lunatic, the dedicated lunatic. Always play with dedication. I am very happy today to be able to bring you this review of the VR Battle Grid Tank and the VR Turbo Cycle. The Turbo Cycle is the blue one, and the tank is, let's say, gray and dark gray? Yeah. But I love these two figures. Unfortunately, because I needed the blue one to be on that side so you can see the sidecar, I switched it around. But I do consider the tank to be the main head of the show. Now, when I first contemplated doing this, I did, of course, check to see if anyone has done a review about this before. And I didn't find anyone who did. So I said, okay, cool. It's a really good review about these two items and two birds with one stone. Now, what I want you to know about it is both of these vehicles are from the VR Troopers line. And they were a 5-inch figure line. Now, the thing I debated most was what figures to show you with these vehicles. And I decided the best way to deal with that was just come at it from a very real way, in the sense of these vehicles are not fresh out the box. They are not mint in package. In fact, I purposely bought them because they were not supposed to be in good condition. I did need some standards maintained, but in general, they're not. I'll give you a very simple understanding of some of the stuff that's missing. The blue cycle is not really missing too much. There's some rust on the screws, and I just haven't taken a Brillo pad to it yet to really clean it up. There's a sticker on the back. I tried to remove the sticker, but as soon as I touched it, I realized if this sticker ever comes off, it's never going on again. So I left it, and there will be a point when I show you that too. But the main reason I didn't want to go that extra mile was because I purposely bought them just for this reason. I'm not trying to collect the line. While I do consider myself a collector, they do serve a purpose. And if you are a collector, I'm pretty sure you can still find these mint in box. So this one is the VR Battle Grid Tank, sometimes referred to as the Battle Cruiser. And this one on the other side is the VR Turbo Cycle. Now I want to let you know right off the back the parts that are missing on the tank. On the tank, first we're missing these two doors. It was a 2-part panel, and the panel would open as you activated the drill. And you're also missing the 3 detachable weapons that go here. I went ahead and just got some weapons from, I suppose, my G.I. Joe style figures, and I hit them with a hot glue gun. That simple. This way, if I ever want to pull them off, they'll pull off very clean, but they're still there, and they form a purpose, because it did come with these slots, and I don't have to worry about them coming off by accident, but they will definitely peel off in a very clean way if I ever come across those pieces. Again, I'm not looking for those pieces, but I did want to make a note. If there is a collector out there who says, hey, I want it in perfect condition, yours will have, I believe all these weapons are white plastic, and this one should be a spring-loaded missile. I have it as a detaching missile. So it's a detaching missile. It's not a spring-loaded missile, but I don't think that really takes away from it too much. Now, when Kenner did this, especially the tank, the motorcycle, that's fine. But the tank was very interesting. Most of this stuff was from when Saban was doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And he was doing so good, he started another series, which is the VR Troopers. after that, he also tried Mask Rider and even, what was after that? Oh, Big Bad Beetleborgs. All of that was Saban Entertainment. And if you're mad at Saban, he also gave us X-Men in a lot of ways, so don't be too mad. But this vehicle was made just for the American audience. There's no tank version like this anywhere else, which might be why I like it so much. It might have just been really focused on the American consumer, what kids were into at that time. So I just wanted to point that out. The blue cycle does exist in a Power Ranger style series over there, but this tank that has a fighter jet on it, no, that is completely new. And if that doesn't sound too American, it should. I'm going to show you some of the features on the tank. It has a retracting drill, which was not for boring in the earth. It was really a weapon for going through shields and barricades. I'll show you the drill. I'll definitely show you the flying compartment. But I do want to be very quick about this. The figures that I'm going to show you with these vehicles are the ones I use when I'm doing my dioramas. And because of that, I'm going to do a quick introduction of those characters. Most of what I do, I purposely try to cross universes with other lines. So none of the characters that I'm going to put in the vehicles are actually going to be VR troopers. But again, that's why I purposely bought them cheap. I'm not collecting them. I just needed vehicles. So I'm going to put out those figures, run through a quick introduction so you can see them with actual figures interacting on the vehicles or inside the vehicles. So give me a moment and I'll show you the figures, and I'll do my best not to do too much of the lore that I've created for them, because this is supposed to focus on the actual action features versus my lore. All right, I would like to introduce to you Team Nightforge. Now, the leader of the team is Angel, the vampire with a soul. His number 2 would be Buffy the Vampire Slayer, along with Blade and Bloodstorm. If you're not familiar with Bloodstorm, she is Storm from an alternate universe who got bit by Dracula and has vampiric powers. So she still is Storm, and for some reason she has no issue with daylight either. Don't worry about it. But the reason they're not leaders of the team is there are other teams. They're like, Angel is part of a Black Ops team that does extractions and other Spec Ops styles of elements. Buffy is part of a team that does patrols, and everyone on the team is a martial artist. Blade is actually second in command of that team, with Yellow Ranger being the leader of the team. And Bloodstorm, I'll probably refer to her as Storm, she is part of a team that everyone on the team can fly. So the reasons they couldn't be a leader of this team is because they're leaders of other teams. And this team is also even more secret than most because they're strictly demon hunters. That's more than enough of the past that I wanted to give you. This is really focused on the figures. On the vehicles. But the figures are here for a very simple reason. If you're buying them for your collection, you should know if it's going to work for your figures. Now, Blade has been kicked off of a team before because he didn't fit inside of the vehicle. So my trusty inch ruler will go next to... All right, so Bloodstorm. Boom. Right at the 5 inches. And Buffy, she's knocked down everybody at least twice already because of her boots. She is slightly higher than 5 inches Oh, man. Okay, luckily she didn't drop anybody, but I'm not touching her anymore. And Angel, right at the 5-inch line. Now, Blade is the tallest, cracking in right around the 6-inch line. Okay, so I showed you them. That's why they're there. Sorry, there's no VR Troopers. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the cycle off to the side so I can show you the tank's features, because the cycle is actually pretty quick. The tank actually has some decent features. So let me get that set up, and I'll show it without the figures, then I'll put the figures in. For the record, Angel and Bloodstorm ride in the tank. And that's because Blade is so large, he works best on the motorcycle because his height won't become a real issue on the motorcycle. And Buffy is probably one of the smaller ones. She can easily fit into the sidecar. So I'll be showing you the tank first without anyone in it. All right, so here's the tank, and it has its 2 cockpits. In the show, this was the main cockpit, while the second one was the computer brains. In fact, I'd like to go into the details of what that computer brains. Yeah, see, in the show, the main vehicle was the pilot, but the cockpit, the second one, it had 360 awareness of the entire situation, and it was supposedly like the brain of the unit that had all its sophisticated information gathering systems. But to make it more of a playable element, they gave you another seat. So I really enjoyed that they gave us that other seat, because so many toys come with room for one figure. Batman toys are notorious for it, and I love Batman. But a lot of my figure vehicles are Ninja Turtles based, because they usually incorporate the team of turtles. Does the Ninja Turtle line have a bunch of vehicles made for just one person? Yeah, they love their motorcycles. But if you're looking for a vehicle line that has room for multiple characters inside the vehicle, I would always say start with the Ninja Turtles, just because it's a team. Even my sweet beloved X-Men Blackbird maxes out at 3 people. So I was very happy to start going and grabbing this tank. So you have a cockpit for 2 people. We'll close it up, and let's see. Oh, you know what? We'll go straight into this mode. This is the fighter jet mode, and once you get it like this, the wings fold over. Ooh, I haven't used this in a while. Oh, boom. And you get something that looks very much like an X-Fighter jet. But I'm not gonna lie, I love the design. I love that you have these translucent points right here, and when it's time to get back on there, wings fold over, lands back on the tank, locks in place. So absolutely love it. Totally cool to have this thing just go into fighter jet mode at a moment's notice. Now, if it was fully equipped, the drill would push forward, and a door, and this part and this part has an opening flap. Oh, where's that door release? Oh, there it is. So I suppose it works better. Yeah. So this is the sliding mechanism right here in the center. But I think I had to push all the way back. But The next part that's interesting is, and again, this drill is not used for burrowing into the earth. It's used as an offensive element to break through barriers and shields. So when you push it along, it drives and it drills. Well, okay. I guess it's old, guys. But just to let you see it, obviously the tank wheels don't work, but... And again, I was very happy to have this in the condition that it's in because I got it for a really good price. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the figures in it so you can take a look at it. But it's one of my favorites. It has a jet. It has a tank. What really more could you ask for from a toy? So let me show you the figures inside of it. So right now, the two figures are in there. I'll go ahead and show you it from the side view. So you do have this opening, and I've had figures with their arms stuck out to the side. I purposely chose Angel because he can fold his arms inward. But if you look really good, you can see Storm's fists kind of on the outer edge. It's not really a big issue, but something to keep in mind. But the other thing you should note is when they're actually inside, they don't sit in a traditional chair. It's more like a recliner almost, but they fit. And that's really the most important part. I love this toy. It's one of my favorites. I have contemplated buying it brand new just so I can have the door that's missing here. Thought the door would be kind of cool, but I have to tell myself, hey, this is not one of my main teams. Everybody has their own vehicles already. Not an investment really worth my time, but it was something that wasn't reviewed. So other people may see this and say, hey, a tank would work really good with what I'm doing with my figures, or look really good on the shelf. And I definitely agree. It would look good on the shelf. And its rolling feature where the drill is kind of still spiraling, well, when it wants to. I'm also grabbing it from a weird angle, so if there was direct force on it, it usually gets that whole drill feature going a little bit better. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's still operational. And the control for it is back here. So I think it's a really good vehicle, and you can't go wrong with the fighter jet element, which is really just forced in there with some clips. Open this. And it's off. And I do want to show you the clips. Those are the plastic clips keeping it in spots, and this is the retracting element. Please be mature about it. But it does have these clips that hold everything in spot. And this is old. This is old, and it has been played with. So if you went out and bought something new, especially still in the box, you get all three of these weapons. You get the spring-loaded element. You get the doors. And you'd have the pleasure of putting on your own stickers. So that's that one, and that's the two members of Team Nightforge, my demon hunting squad. Now we'll go into the motorcycle. I think it's a little simpler. So here's the turbo cycle. Now, when I was doing my research into this, I found out that in the original Japanese show, that the cycles are actually sentient. I thought that was really interesting. I'm glad it's a feature they didn't bring over. They already had a talking dog. We needed to kind of really keep it moving after that point. Not that I have an issue with talking dogs, but if all the vehicles were sentient, it might have sucked when, they got rid of them. But I don't think this is a bad looking vehicle. I really don't. This is one of the issues I had. I tried to correct it. A slight misalignment with the sticker for the rear thrust. And you could see the stickers are not lined up. But again, for what I paid for it, very happy with it. And you have some more stickers in here, over there. It's very good. I'm definitely not disappointed with what I have. I will say for simulating flying, you kind of get this lean thing, but that's not bad. All things considered, that's not a bad lean factor. And it does easily separate into two different vehicles. I've seen it stand up on its own. Yeah, there it is. And it's not bad. I really enjoy it as a toy. In fact, I'll show you the projectile that's on the secondary cart element. Let's pull you to this. Actually, let's leave you there and allow me to show you its spring load. I have no idea where this is going to go, and I don't consider it a reliable spring element. I think it's slightly bent and it fires anywhere, but it still fires, so I'm happy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's weird that they have a projectile that's pointed almost to the ground. So it kind of has to hit the ground and slide and wobble. But all things considered, it's still operational, so I'm happy. Will I ever be able to hit anything with it? It's completely different. Let me show you what the figures look like on it. Also, I do want to show you how it sticks together. So it's a clamp in here and it just sits there. So in hook and boom, back together. All right, let me show you what it looks like with the characters on it. Okay, so I have Blade driving the vehicle, and I have Buffy kind of doing the co-pilot seat. In the show, it was very common for them to carry specialized weapons in the sidecar. So that was good that they, again, made it a seat. Can you carry items in the sidecar? Yeah, it's big enough for a figure. You put anything there. I made a choice when I put Blade on it. I could have put his hand around the steering brake column, but I made a decision. He's only going to be able to get one hand on it. So I went for the hand that was on the inside. The other hand I can put a weapon in, including have him draw his sword. So it works, and it does work really well considering Blade is one of my larger figures. And this particular Blade, I can take the coat off of him. But it works. Like, honestly, I'm crossing universes. It works. I have Buffy. Buffy sits there. She sits comfortably. It's not really the hardest thing in the world to simulate flight with them. It is a flying motorcycle, so it's not out of scope. And there's no real issue with it rolling. And of course, that means I wouldn't have any issue with them separating. Although, like a real bike, you'd have to get a kickstand or something. So, one of my, again, what made it so worthwhile was the fact that I could get it at a good price and that it was used. So that made me very happy. Now, these two elements, let me grab the tank. Here we go. These two vehicles, I love them. I honestly do. I really wish the company that did it, which was Kenner, I wish they were able to do some more. They actually did a second tank in the second season. They ran out of footage, and of course, what he does when he runs out of footage, he just grabs from another show. I will admit, as much as I enjoyed watching VR Troopers, it irritated me. I never saw the main characters together, which is why they had the little virtual world where they would fight all together, because it was actually like 3 different shows merged together. There's a lot of Frankensteining going on there. And let me see if I remember any specialized trivia before I let you guys go. So the main feature for the motorcycle is that it splits apart and that it has that front firing element. I'm hoping if you got a brand new one that it would fire better. And the battle grid tank in the show, it only held 1 person. I spoke of that already. And it gives it 360 vision. The drill was used as a shield breaker to ram enemies. Season 2 did have the upgrades. And of course you have the wing mode. Let's see, 2-seater. I will say that the other thing that was worth noting about it was that in the original Power Rangers, when the Green Ranger came, he was very popular. And originally, the Green Ranger was supposed to die or lose his powers, however they wanted to sell it. And then they were supposed to get a new person to be the White Ranger. But the fan outcry from the actor who portrayed the Green Ranger was so strong that they decided to let him become the White Ranger. And the person who would have gotten the job as White Ranger said, we're just going to give you your own show, which was VR Troopers. It turns out the guy who played Green Ranger loved it, and he pretty much kept coming back in the series again and again, and is probably one of the most active actors towards being a Power Ranger. Like, I think at some point they gave him a Master Morpher because he had been like 5 different Rangers. So they just gave him the ability to access all his powers. I thought it was cool, but honestly, after they lost the original cast, I wasn't willing to meet new people. I only wanted the original cast. And when they all eventually left, I don't think the show's quality dropped. I just think because those were my first Rangers, that was it. And I will ask people, what are the first Power Rangers you know? I have a friend, and the first one he knows is the Jungle Force. Or it's a Jungle Fury. But that's his first Power Rangers because of his age. And I'm like, okay, cool. The Power Rangers have done so many different forms of Power Rangers that the lore keeps growing. And, you know, right now the comic book is doing great also. But this was a spinoff. Well, not a spinoff. Let's be clear. Not a spinoff. This was a spinoff in the sense that Saban decided to use the Power Ranger formula to go ahead and create another series. Power Ranger is still the most successful, but I would argue, considering that VR Trooper did roughly 2 seasons, that VR Troopers wasn't that successful. I know The Masked Rider barely did 1 season. Big Bad Beetleborgs probably was the next most successful one. I honestly did watch Big Bad Beetleborgs enough to justify that. And if we go strictly by how many seasons they were able to produce, then it probably is Big Bad Beetleborgs. But as a collector, I love these vehicles. I can't say that enough. They're still rugged. Like, what do I have that I could show you how rugged they really are? All right. I use this license plate when I'm using my heat gun. Yeah, that's just wax. They're really solid. It's just a metal license plate, so it's great for what I use it for. But these toys, they don't build them like this anymore. They probably won't last. I'm hoping the ones I do have, the new stuff, does last for many, many years. but this stuff still looks good. If you bought it new, you'd have new stickers. But for the price I bought it, I don't mind the modifications I made, and I love the characters that I have with this. And I love you guys for giving me this time to show you these two incredible vehicles. They are vehicles that I'm very fond of. I never had a chance to get them when I was a kid, so I'm very happy to be able to collect them now. I would like to thank you for your time. In fact, if you enjoyed this in any way, go ahead and give me a like so this can push it out to other collectors out there so they can check out my video also. I'm most active on Instagram. I've enjoyed this time with you. I'm the Dedicated Lunatic. Always play with dedication.